The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever part of the day you're in. This is Krishna Vedula on behalf of IFES GEDC and IUCE, welcoming you to another completely packed webinar today. We have more than 200 people with us. As you all know, this is the world is going through a crisis, and I think this series of webinars is meant to have us communicate with each other as to how to handle this crisis throughout the world. So I'm delighted to have with us an expert from China today as our speaker. So I'm going to have put him in there. Dr. Zheng Zhu from SUSTech will be with us in just a second as soon as I make him the presenter. Okay, now click show my screen. Okay. Perfect, you're on.
So hello everyone. First of all, I would like to thank GDC and IFES to give me this opportunity to share our experience on online teaching and learning at the SUSTech. SUSTech stands for Southern University of Science and Technology. We are located in Shenzhen, just across Hong Kong. It's just an hour car ride away from Hong Kong. Shenzhen is a modern city, center of high tech in China. It's very similar to Silicon Valley in US. So now SUSTech is a research-intensive public university established in 2012 and fully supported by Shenzhen municipal government. At the moment, we have 497 full-time faculty members, 4,200 undergraduate students, and 2,200 graduate students. So our university focuses on science, engineering, medicine, and business. So actually, it's a global university. We use English as instruction language. And this actually the field core like expertise in the specialties in the university. We teach in English for the courses, and we have all students have overseas experiences. So the College of Engineering at SUSTech was established in 2015, and it has now 195 students. Actually, here is 180, but we have now 195 faculty members, 1,300 undergraduate students, and 1,100 graduate students. That's actually basic. And we have 7 departments and 3 schools in College of Engineering at the SUSTech, and as you can see here, I will not go into details. So my main objective today is to share our experience on student-centered learning environment for online teaching and learning. Actually, we're still focusing on student-centered learning environment for our teaching. So first, let's look at the spread of COVID-19 in China and the need of online teaching and learning. So first COVID-19 case was confirmed on December 1st, 2019. And then actually shortly after that, it was a travel peak for China because of Chinese Spring festivals causing outbreak of a COVID-19 virus. On January 20th, human-to-human transmission of COVID-19 was confirmed. And then because of that, and to avoid or to minimize the spread, the Wuhan city was shutting down on February 1st. So whole city was shutting down, and actually that was the, and then the university actually was supposed to start on a March 9th, but the class was started actually on the. We had to make an announcement to the students not to return on campus, and online courses were planned to deliver as scheduled. That's actually a decision by the upper management at the university. And then we started our university on time, but all the courses are delivered online, and all faculty members and the staff also working online starting February 10th. So on March 9th, 2020, and all the faculty members and staff returned on campus, and we operate at more than 94% in Shenzhen by March 2020. As you can see, because of this decision on isolation of the people, and the things get actually recovered quite effectively. But on March 11th, 2020, World Health Organization declared the coronavirus a pandemic disease. So, and also at the moment, China and some also regions globally are determined as very high risk areas. So as we all experience, and most of the places now, they shut down the schools. So that's basically the situation. So it is clear that we postpone return of the student and the faculty back on campus for regular schooling. But the courses were offered online through online teaching. So in a sense, basically, even there is no schooling on campus, but the education still goes on. All the faculty members were asked to ensure online education quality and interactions between the students and the faculty complying with the online teaching principle of in-class experience for all the aspects of teaching and learning. Even though we deliver the lectures online, but we ensure the teaching and the learning environment is same as the classroom lecturing. That's actually the decision our upper management emphasizes. So of course, to do the online teaching, it requires actual steps and hence actual work. First, you need to create course site. This is really we do this on the like on Blackboard. In US and or in Canada, sometimes it's called e-class. You have to go on the website, create the course. This usually is done by the manager, web manager does that. The instructors only need to log into the Blackboard, find their courses in Blackboard, and upload the course materials. Then determine the method and make announcement to Blackboard. On Blackboard, the delivery method of lectures. So although Blackboard is a good method for the organizing courses, but really the delivery of lectures is not the best way using the Blackboard. So also during this time, you can create the student chat group through some media like a WeChat or QQ in China, which is very similar to MSN or Facebook or WhatsApp, Skype, etc. So to create this group is very important because some students may not know the Blackboard, or they may not check the Blackboard to ensure the messages reaching the students. And using email actually is not best way to get connected with students, because sometimes emails go to junk box. And then you have to prepare the course materials such as videos and PPT well in advance. So at SUSTech, we require instructors upload their materials to Blackboard 1 week in advance. Actually, that's actually basically you have to do. And then when you have materials on the Blackboard and they announce the lecture time, then we start to deliver the class. You can do teaching and the interactions through different online platforms. So here is a few things like to summarize the steps or check marks for online teaching and learning. It includes make a course available to students and upload the syllabus and the learning objectives. This is very important so students know what they expect from this course. The upload course materials such as lecture videos, PPT, and then create online in-class quizzes. This actually is very important because this allows more effective like interactions with students in class. Then you upload assignments and communicate with students using discussion board or enter the manage the grade. This is a few things you do when you do the course materials on Blackboard. And then you communicate with students. Keep in touch with students is vital. For any changes to class, you remind the students to preview course materials. That actually is very important. And let students know how you plan to communicate with them and how often you communicate. To tell the students how often you expect them to check their Blackboard is also important. As you can see, because it's not a face-to-face or in classroom teaching, and this communication becomes very, very important. You alert students to complete the assignment before the submission deadline, so that you cannot do it in classrooms, so you can do it through the chat group, and also you have to match online course with timetable of the scheduled course, so that the student gets the value of the education, and also notify student online course information. It's like meeting codes, or it's like when you log on, you need the codes, so that you have to let students to know. And also you use Blackboard and the chat room to make announcement to avoid using email, which may go to the junk mail. And the Blackboard also keeps all the discussions in place. So it's very, very important that you have that. And as you can see here, the course needs to be more organized than regular course when you do the online teaching. So here is a survey we did for all the courses we have on SUSTech, what type of media they are using for the lecturing. And as you can see here, Tencent meeting is the most popular one for the delivering lectures. And this actually is very similar to Google Meeting. And it's, we use Tencent meeting because the administration use this organize the conference, the video conference. So people are familiar with this. And still some people use the Blackboard as the teaching medium. But in this case, the Blackboard is used only to upload videos of lectures. And the lecture time is usually used as tutorial, like questions and answers through QQ or the Blackboard. So Zoom is another medium which is very similar to Tencent meeting, but can record the lectures. So during the lecture, you can record the whole lectures, and then you can upload to Blackboard for the reviews by the students of the lecture. So that is very important when you have students spread all over the world, like you have many different students from different countries, have different time zones. This is very, very good way because you can upload the videos and students can watch at their time. And also Ring Classroom is another media for delivering courses. This actually it was developed at the Tsinghua University in China. It combines Blackboard and attendant meeting functions, but no voice communication and interactions, only typing for the communication. So it is also used by a few of us. And also QQ is very powerful for the chatting, for the interactions among the group. You can create a chatting group, so that in the group you can talk to each other, type to each other. Use QQ, very effective, and for the interactions. And the Sidecar is similar to Blackboard and used mostly by the students in the computers as they require. And also there is a test center classroom, which is also very similar to the test center meeting room. Not much difference. Now there are still a few people use Bilibili. Bilibili is used because they can have the medium screen, so the messages can fly on the screen while you're teaching, and the student can see the messages from other students in the class, and then it's more interactive. Otherwise, in the other method like in Zoom or Tessen, you either make the voice to interrupt the teaching, or you have to look at the notes side. So that actually is a few things. You can different ways to look at the delivering of lectures. So here is a comparison among 3 popular interactive online teaching media, and the Rain Classroom, Test and the Meeting, and Zoom. So advantage of Rain Classroom, there is no limit to the numbers of users. So that is the very attractive, but it's not very stable sometimes. And effective interactions, like you can have the bulletin screen, you can have vote or test. And students can visit the course site at any time, and the rich data of teaching and learning feedback is created here. So that actually you can see here, you can use a whiteboard, you can record the lectures, you can but you cannot share the screen for the Ring Classroom. And you can have file sharing, online chatting, and then you cannot have remote control. So that is another disadvantage. And also multiplayer online videos are not allowed here. And then of course you can have course site for the Ring Classroom, and you can pull test and assignment, all this. So you can have post the material on the Ring Classroom. I already mentioned the test and the meeting, which actually can have very attractive features, as you can see here. So you can have multiplayer online voice, and you can have remote control, so control the class. And also you can have a screen share, which is not allowed in the Ring Classroom, but it cannot record the lectures, and also does not have the pop-out whiteboard. So as you can see here, Zoom is more like powerful. It only have 2 class here, which means they cannot have a course site, and also you cannot post the materials on the Zoom. So in order to make the online teaching more effective, usually you combine 2 different methods, such as Blackboard with Zoom, or Blackboard with Test and Meeting. And the Blackboard is really used for the announcement, upload course materials, assignment, and the related materials. That's actually a quick comparison. So now let's look at a roadmap of online teaching, what's actually basically involved. So it is very, very important to build communication channels through Blackboard and QQ group chat. So Blackboard is good to keep files, but the QQ is more interactive, like in real time. So these two combinations or some similar combinations are very, very powerful for the online teaching. So basically, in terms of online teaching, you can divide into 3 groups. One is before class, and then of course live class sessions, and then after class. So in the before class, you have to have to post the announcement, upload the slide, videos, and the related materials. Student preview the materials on Blackboard, and then during the online lecture, going through key points, more interactive to gauge the students' knowledge, and also pre-class efforts is very important. And then you have to adjust the pace of teaching through in-class interactions, encourage students to be involved and almost like through the notes or the even flip class teaching. Of course, after class, you have to upload the lecture videos so that the student can watch them. And also students work out the assignment, submit the homework, and then the instructors mark the assignment and post the marks. So basically, interactions, as we all know, is very important during the lecturing. And there are 3 different levels of interactions. Live interactions is like basically you can do through the vote, and also you can do through the bulletin screen. And sometimes you can make simple quizzes to make sure students are paying attention to the class. Because students could sign in, but then they walk away doing other things, not very concentrated. But pose the questions quickly or the simple questions, and then ask the student response. It's a very good way to get the students' attention and concentration. And of course, you can do the medium interactions with students through the assignment and the group discussions. And also, more importantly, if you want really strong interaction and the student-centered learning, you can have group discussions. Basically, you post the videos of the lecture online in the Blackboard, and then students watch the video before the class, and then they come to discuss the concept, and the instructors just kind of guide the students through, and almost like the flipped classroom learning environment. So another important thing is also challenges in online teaching is lab courses. Lab course is very, very difficult. And the tips for delivering online lab course really is very difficult. So here are 2 examples. One is a materials lab course, one is electrical engineering lab course. As you can see here, you still can do decent job if you organize the lab course well. So you can always post the lab materials on the Blackboard, and then to ask a student review the materials. Then for the materials lab, you can upload the videos, like demonstration videos. So students will watch the video as if they're doing the lab, and then you can ask them to do the simulation, and also providing the data as if you are collecting data in the real lab, and then the student can analyze the data and still submit the report and get the grade. So that is really one of the ways to organize lab. Of course, another interesting way to organize lab is very similar, but in terms of video demonstration, now you allow the students access lab station on campus through VPN and do the simulation by different software like LabVIEW or Cadence. And then the student can get the data, do the simulation lab, and submit the report. So in a sense, if you organize well, you are still be able to do majority of the lab materials or lab concepts, And then when the crisis is over, then when the students come back, maybe have a demonstration lab very quickly, so that students they have physical sense of the experiments. So now, delivering of lecture is very important, but really at the end of the day, we need to know how well students are learning through this online teaching. So online learning evaluation is very important. And then there are many different ways to do the online learning evaluations. In terms of teaching and the learning activities, you can preview the materials, they have discussions, they have quizzes, they have assignment, so that you gauge whether your students are following. And also you can still create a project-based report and open book exams. And actually, as you also heard, you can have even the online internship. We heard a couple of days ago about the webinar. And then the evaluation objective is to encourage students to be more involved by participation and grading. So that is the thing. How do you, gauge how effective? And the student learning feedback is also very important. And actually, that's one of the things we have done is to collect the information from the students after a couple of weeks, and then get feedback, and then you really, adjust. So that, as I mentioned here, timely evaluation and the timely feedback is the best way for the learning and for the teaching. So that is basically the things. So now, then we did a quick survey for the students for a few large classes, and we surveyed about 400 students through 4 courses. And here are some of the very interesting findings from our students. First, as you can see here, where the students preview the course materials before online class. And actually, as you can see, actually, majority of students, about 56%, they had a quick preview, but about 30% still fully preview the materials. From here, the majority of students are very keen to learn the materials. And also, we have the videos. Videos usually is more time consuming, and still we have 55% of the students fully preview the materials. The reason they have to do this because in the class, instructors will really guide the students through discussions, and all the materials already done in the pre-class video reviewing. And also in terms of the time on the assignment, as you can see, students spend quite a bit of time on the assignment, typically more than 2 hours a week for a course. And also, when students stuck, how do they get the help during the online class? As you can see here, the group discussion is the most important way to get the answers for the questions. And this is actually very similar to the on-campus learning, because students like to do the homework together and set up the group. This is still similar through the online chatting group to get answers. So, and also in terms online teaching or face-to-face teaching, and as you can see here, even though online teaching is convenient, but still students prefer face-to-face classroom teaching. I think that this they feel more, the interactions or learning environment. And also when you ask the student to compare interactions in online teaching as compared to face-to-face teaching, and the majority of people feels actually is not as effective, but still more than half feels is okay, or at least not different from a classroom. So that is the feedback from students. And also when we ask them what kind of method they prefer, and as you can see here, the pre-recorded lectures are more popular. Students like to watch because this is very convenient. They can pause and then they can watch back until they follow, they understand. And then we ask the student how to engage students in online teaching and learning. And the majority of students say, pop quiz is very effective, because when you ask a quiz in class and the student have to respond. And of course, if you provide extra credits, and that's another good way to motivate the students. And also, of course, the question and answer sessions. And some students feel the attendance is also important. So here is some also the comparison between the face-to-face teaching and online teaching in terms of flexibility. The online teaching is more flexible, and this is also from the students' answers. And in terms of access to the course materials, as you can see, also the online teaching is more convenient, more responsiveness during online class, and this is actually surprising, because then what we saw is when a student have problems, they write on the note, and then the group will respond, and also the instructor can get to the sense and can explain. So it's actually more response to the questions. And also readiness of recorded course materials, of course, is always better online teaching. But the more interactions among the student and teachers, of course, and the student feels in classroom is more beneficial, and also the students are more engaged in the classroom teaching and the learning. And of course, the online teaching requires more self-discipline. If students are not very disciplined, then they can, walk away, do other things, and then become not very concentrated on the work. And also required students manage time better, because you have to, get on, and instructor answers questions more promptly when you have the online teaching. And the learning environment, students still feel come to the classroom is much more effective. And then here is a quick list of the pros and the cons in terms of online teaching. As you can see here, the pros include review materials until you can follow, you learn, and you save time to travel to class, and you can catch up later for missing concepts or information. Because if you sit in the class, if you didn't catch the idea, then then you cannot review it. But online you can do that, and more flexible to learn, and more interactive through chatting functions, and also less pressure on concentration, and also on the other things. But the cons also there. As you can see here, it's easy to lose concentration when you're sitting home, watching the computer screen. And sometimes you don't have stable internet, and you get frustrated. And also, it is a really weak learning environment at home, and missing the classroom environment, need self-discipline, and missing face-to-face interactions with instructors are the the disadvantage of online learning. In terms of interactions, the more interactive, if you have because the students are not embarrassed to ask questions, because their face is not shown, and it's easy to ask by typing, not interrupt the class, and the others look at you when you're asking questions. And the chatting among students makes it easier to have interactions. And why people feel it's online teaching is less interactive? It's more time consuming by typing than by speaking, and also there is no classroom environment in the online teaching. So that's why. And it was surprising to see high attendance of class when we have online teaching, at least from the way the students sign up. This actually is one of the advantage of the online teaching. So here are a few kind of students suggesting on online teaching and learning. So student feels actually it's more beneficial if you have more quiz, more discussions, more interactions with students, and delivering live online lecture with video on is like still like to see the instructors, not like me here talking, my face is not shown. Still like to see the professors, and they like to see the interactions through Blackboard more often, and of course the full attendance bonus, as this mentioned, the students like to have the bonus if they attend the class, and they like to return to campus as soon as possible. I think they're missing schooling on campus, and also upload recorded course video on Blackboard is very, very important. So here are a couple of things I like to share in terms of challenges and strategies for the online teaching. And of course, the biggest challenge is unstable internet and online teaching platforms break down. This happens from time to time. And also students in different time zones. And then you cannot really offer one-time lecturing. To solve these strategies, actually you can prepare a backup plan when the internet is broken down, and provide more flexibility, upload the recorded course video to Blackboard so that people in the different time zone can watch. And also a student in poor area cannot attend the online class because they may not able to access the internet, and then you have to, in this case, you have to change the teaching and learning strategy to those students so that to make sure they can follow. And also instructors need to make great efforts in transitioning from face-to-face to online teaching. Actually, it's true. When you change from traditional classroom teaching to online teaching, instructors have to make more efforts. And then how to resolve this? You give more support through training and the sharing of best practices, and take advantages of online course resources provided by university. And also in terms of how to concentrate, engage in online class for the students. And as we already mentioned, the pop-up quiz, group discussions, randomly ask a student to answer simple questions so that the student will not be embarrassed if they don't get the right answer. And the student turning on video can enhance the sense of presence. So I think to make the online teaching successful, it is very important to have strong support and emphasis on undergraduate teaching from university up management. So at the SUSTech, actually in the College of Engineering, we actually allocated some resources to encourage faculty members create innovative teaching method for the online teaching. Specifically for online teaching, we allocated the funds to encourage the innovation. And think of online teaching, here just the 3 bullets. How to transform from classroom teaching to online teaching is something we have to think. And maybe down the road, the blended teaching would be another way, even though there is no need for the online teaching, could be beneficial. And then how to get timely and accurate information about online teaching performance. And I think we need to use different evaluation systems, like the surveys we have done. That seems quite effective. And of course, they pay more attention to the student learning outcomes, satisfaction, and engagement, and back to student-centered learning environment, and the project-based learning is very important. So actually, that's basically what I like to share with everyone here. And at the end, I'd like to thank the help from Mrs. Fengxia Wu. She actually prepared the slides, and also Professor Yanjun Yu Professor Fa Tai Zhang and Professor Qi Wang. Actually, they did all surveys for their courses. I listened to their courses, and then this material is actually organized based the materials from them. And here is our future home of College of Engineering at SUSTech. And you are very welcome to visit us at SUSTech. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. What a fantastic presentation, Dr. Zhu. Before I give it over to Hans, our fearless leader, to make some comments and then move on to others in the panelists, I just want to mention that we have 410 people in the audience today. That's quite a record. Obviously, there will be many, many questions from them. We will go a little bit over time. Normally, we end at after 1 hour, but we'll go about 10 minutes more just to accommodate a few comments and questions. So thank you all for joining. If you're not able to get your questions because there are 400 of you, we will follow it up. But keep in mind that we will create an online community where we can have these discussions more informally through the IFES, GEDC, and IUC network. Over to Hans. Come in, Hans.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Chengi, this is one of the most thoughtful, effective presentations that Krishna and I have facilitated through our global webinars. I really, really thank you. Just for all of you to know, Chengi is an important leader in the GDC community on the executive committee, and he and his president have welcomed us and hosted a very, very important global conference at their campus. Earlier also, under President Xi's leadership at Peking University, we most likely had our most successful GDC Global Conference. I just wanted people to know about that. Second is what he has presented, we will share on a video in the IFES community in IUCE. Just want you to know. The only question that I have is, given that Shenzhen is the Silicon Valley in China, what is the connection between the university, the students and faculty, and the companies at this moment, at this difficult, challenging time currently? I'd appreciate some comments on that. Thank you very much again, Chengi.
Okay, Hans, thank you for excellent questions. Actually, we at the SUSTech do have a capstone design project for the senior graduating students. And typically, all students work in groups, 4 to 5, and the projects are all from the industry in Shenzhen. And what we do is we have the supervisors from industry, also supervisor from a university working as the team to supervise the project. So during this capstone design course, of course, we have the lecture series also to cover a wide range of subjects such as startups, entrepreneurship, and ethics, and communications, leadership, etc. At the moment, the interactions with the industry is really limited through the also online interactions. So the students working on the project still discuss in group and they brainstorm to prepare when the situation recovers. At the moment, in China, the students are not allowed to come back on campus, but the cities are not really already operating as almost normal. So as soon as the Minister of Education lifts the restriction for the student coming back, and then those students who have been in discussions on the project, who have been taking the online lectures, and will get together, interact with the industry. So at the moment, we are still also trying to do some homework.
Thank you.
On that sense.
Thank you. I'm going to go quickly to Ramiro, then Serene, Ramiro from IFES, Serene from GDC, then Michael Milligan, and Sunil Maharaj. So just to give them advance notice. Ramiro, I'm going to unmute you. Please come in.
Thank you, Shensen. Great presentation. Thank you for organizing this, Krishna and Hans. Yes, I think I see a clear delay between you and us. We're probably 2 to 3 weeks behind you, depending whether you had a spring break or not. Our biggest challenges is, of course, we have the technology available, but the biggest challenge that we have is access to labs. Students cannot come back to the labs, and also access to the internet with remote people from reservations, all that. So Shenzhen, if you can expand a little bit on how are you dealing with people that do not have access to internet? Thank you.
Okay, so
Great
actually
presentation. I really appreciate that. Well collected data. Thank you.
this is again excellent question. I think in China we have a few students who are unable to really have good connections for the class. In China, actually, majority of students have the cell phones and they have data package. They can have access to the lectures through the mobile device, but it's really not as easy. Through this, like a WeChat, we can share large files. Like you can transmit the like videos more effectively than the desktop. So we can upload also the videos to those students who have don't have good access to the internet through the laptop. They can have access to the materials through the phone by this WeChat. So that's how we do it.
Okay, that's like WhatsApp, right? WeChat is like WhatsApp.
Yeah, WhatsApp, very similar to WhatsApp. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, Serene, I'm going to go to you. Come in, Serene.
Hi, thank you so much for this excellent webinar, Chengye. It was wonderful, so very timely. My question is, well, first off, a comment. To call this experience with online teaching is an understatement. You've described an all-in-all wonderful blended delivery. You did call on flipped classroom there for a couple times. How many of your what percentage of your faculty was ready with their teaching background and credentials in blended learning and online delivery tools before this, so that you could make this transition so successfully?
Oh, this is also a very, very good question. At SUSTech, we normally do not use like a Blackboard, and also we don't upload the materials to the course site. And the majority of the instructors, when they give course, they make announcement, make connections through the WeChat. Actually, WeChat in China is very, very popular, like WhatsApp in other countries like in US. So, however, because for the formal teaching, now you don't have classroom, so all university requires all the faculty members to create the course on the Blackboard. And also we ask all the instructors to record the attendance of the student, because it's actually very easy not to check how many students listen or attend the lectures, because you can see how many students sign up. And this is actually very effective way. As I mentioned towards the end of the day, really the effort is the most important thing to make the people making effort. I think the university upper management have to, put the emphasis on this undergraduate teaching, which is really the thing at the SUSTech. We value the undergraduate teaching, and we put a lot of emphasis. And actually, that's why, like, we require all the department chairs, all the deans, all the VPs, they have to go sitting a few lectures to make sure, the professor doing good job. That's another thing we do. But the professors responded very well, And actually, when they first started, we checked the materials, how many faculty members uploaded the materials on the course website. And amazingly, we only see like 3-4 classes. They did not upload the materials in advance. And then we talked to the faculty members, and they corrected it right away because they use different medium to upload the material. But we said you have to upload on the Blackboard. So that is how we do it.
Okay, so
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chenge. And I do hope I get to visit you soon.
okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Tsering, and I'm going to go to Michael Milligan. He's self-muted. Can you unmute yourself and then come in, Michael? Are you able to come in? Okay, now Sunil Maharaj. I'm going to see if Sunil is our next host for the IFES conference, GDC. Do you want any comments from you, Sunil?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Shu. Very good, very interesting and very informative presentation. I just have one question. I think for electrical engineering, it's relatively easier to do online labs because you can use LabVIEW and online things. What's your experiences, for example, things like chemistry or chemical engineering or thermodynamics? Any experiences on online laboratory work there?
So very good. Yeah. Actually, like in College of Engineering, we don't have chemistry labs, but we do have materials lab. So in the materials lab, what they do, they record the experiments, and then explain each step, and then they have virtual the instruments to analyze the materials, and they put the materials, they type in the information, and then they get the data. So then we have all this access by the students, and then eventually we gave them the spectrum. They have to analyze, say, what is compound, as if we are doing the experiment, get the spectrum or get the data. And actually, I think the experience is quite good, the feedbacks. Similarly, when we do the CAD design, using CAD, and we also ask them doing the project, like design something, and the student can have access to the CAD remotely, and then they can do the design. So majority of the hands-on experiments are still be able to be offered. Of course, it's very different from you have hands-on, and the hands-on the experience will be provided when the situation improves, when they return. By that time, really, it's just like the demonstration. The student will not really run the tests.
Okay, great. Thanks, Sunil. I'm skimming through lots and lots of questions and comments, and it's hard to keep up with all of them that are coming in because we have more than almost 400 people still online. I'm going to broadly categorize them into some specific general areas, and maybe you can address them in these broad categories. And I apologize for the individuals who have sent these. I'm not able to mention your names because so many of you. One category, Jenge, is what are the online resources available, and particularly in countries like India, where the small towns and so on. Sometimes the financial issues are a problem. The budgets are limited. Things like Blackboard and other things are expensive. So, is there a place where there is online resource for different types of platforms that are available, and maybe any of them are open source or free?
I think Zoom is free up to 100 people. And if you have classroom is under 100, you can use Zoom, actually very effective. And in terms like Tencent, the meeting room, that is you can have up to 300 people. Those are very effective. And I think for majority of the places, you can have the a Google meeting room, which is also free if it is a Google meeting. And you can have, I believe it's also about 100 people you can use, and you don't have to pay. Even if for the Zoom you have to pay, it's not very expensive. So you can have one department buy one license and to use it. And in our electrical engineering, we have students more than 100. So we bought the license for the course.
Okay.
For the Blackboard, which is actually, I think, a majority of universities in North America, they use it. One was at the University of Alberta, we use E-Class, which is exactly same as the Blackboard. I'm not sure, but I think they also changed to Blackboard, which is really good for keeping the materials and the track all the works students have done. So that is the most important. Otherwise, you can use like WhatsApp. I'm sure not every student have the telephones, and you can use to communicate with the instructors.
Okay, great. I think I think, as you said, many people are using Blackboard all over the world, and I'm sure the stock in Blackboard, whoever owns Blackboard, has gone up quite a bit, just as Zoom has. And if anybody wants to get into Blackboard, obviously you have to have an account with them, so you might want to go into their website and get started. But there is another. I'd like to comment you on your comment on this other site that we use is Canvas. Have you experienced Canvas?
Canvas, actually, I don't have much experience with Canvas. We haven't had any instructors who used that.
Okay. So
I'm sorry, I don't know much
fine.
about
That's fine. and then one common question that came through for many people is the conducting of tests and quizzes, and the question of people who might be cheating, how to control cheating and so on. So what is your thoughts on how to optimize the conducting of tests and quizzes and exams?
Yeah, actually, this is, I think, the online teaching, the biggest challenge is the really evaluating the students, to manage the exams is extremely difficult. I think, in order to do things properly, maybe you do the open book or open book exam, and for the quizzes, actually, it's not too bad because all professors, sometimes even each class, when they finish, they leave about 5 to 10 minutes. They give out like 5 to 10 very simple questions, trying to make sure students really pay attention to the class. And you just ask the students, give 5 minutes and you submit. So this is another way to monitor the progress of students and the concentration of the students for the quizzes. And also students like to have the quizzes like that because this is a good way to manage. But I think the manage the exam, close the book exam, as you mentioned, the plagiarism is really a big problem. And some people try to manage it by restricting the time. They will like announce the exam and open immediately, and then after 3 hours they close, and then you have to submit. If you don't submit, then you lose marks. So, but still, because the communication is so fast, so convenient, it's very difficult to avoid the plagiarism. So people usually don't do that.
Okay. Another group of questions is the faculty, of course, have to learn how to do a lot of new things as a result of this, and they're trying to learn all over the country, all over the world. Are there some courses or certifications for faculty training of this set?
So at SUSTech, we don't have any like online teaching services for faculties, but at the college, what we do is we collected the ideas from all the faculty, not all of the faculty, from those who are very keen on the education, on teaching, and ask them, what is good ways, and then we gave them support. Like if we feel this, the proposal they submit is innovative, and then we provide the TA to help them to create to realize what they want to do. So that is the learning in progress. Hopefully, when we have the GDC meeting in Cape Town, I can share some of the experience in that direction.
Okay. And of course, the biggest challenge, as everybody has pointed out, is the as Sunil also mentioned, is the laboratories, all kinds of laboratories and hands-on interactivity, because that is one of the things that the global engineers need to be more communicate and interact and work in teams and so on. So that's the biggest challenge. And it looks like you have addressed some of these in your institution. How you want to add any more comments on that aspect of laboratories?
Yeah, laboratories actually, I think even without this COVID-19 crisis or outbreak, people already start to think in terms, the virtual labs. In a sense, really, you don't have to buy very expensive lab equipment to run the lab. You can have those simulated animations. You can have videos, and the actually online resources are quite good for majority of the courses. You can get the information. For example, if I need to learn how to run ball mill, I can type in the YouTube or the Googles, and it can come up with some very nice videos to show how it works. And then when the student going out to do the internship, they really gain the experience. I think that's something, we start to do more on the project-based learning, but on the other hand, in terms of classroom teaching, and moving more towards these virtual labs.
Okay. I just want to thank some of the people who have been texting us. Haider, Muhammad, Nino, Preeti, Ajit, Venkatesh Subramani, Hopi Kumar Chaturvedi, Raji, Ajit, Anil Kumar Pandit, Graciela, he's written a long thing about how he does various things in this classroom. Then Shikha Maheshwari, Naga Kumar, Devraj, Haider, Nino Thomas, Thani, and so on. So quite a lot of active people here. Raj Sekhar, Shirish Sane, and Deepak, Dev, Siddiqui, lots and lots of people. It's fantastic that we still have more than 330 people here. What we are proposing, and Dr. Jangir, I want your thoughts on this, is through the with the help of IFES GEDC and create an online community that of learning and do it in an online manner, so that perhaps, for example, all of these, I think there are quite a few people in here who have actually suggested other ways and approaches that has worked for them. So in addition to what you have shared, other people have things to share. So I'm proposing that, we are proposing that perhaps we should have an online community for sharing, maybe meet once a month or once in 2 weeks, or and whoever wants to comes and tells us what they're doing, and in addition, without any prepared presentation, but just a group session where people come in and chat and talk like this, like we're doing right now, using online technology to continuously share on a regular basis is. What do you think of such an idea, Dr. Singh?
I think this is an excellent idea, Krishna. Mm-hmm. I'm sharing my experience with the people, but again, the feedback is very, very good. All the some other ways we don't know to improve altogether for the teaching.
Mm-hmm. So we'll arrange. I think we'll talk with Hans and see what he says about it. Hans, you want to talk a little bit about that before we start closing?
Well, one of the tremendous riches of our IFES GDC IUCE communities is the increasing interconnectivity and learning from one another and breaking the cultural, geographical, and other barriers per se. And you set a tone of communication and of learning that I think is a wonderful example. And I love the idea, Krishna, that you're articulating. We'll find a win-win way to engage our global community in a more new, creative way moving forward. Thanks.
Thanks, Hans. By the way, Michael Milligan was here. He was having some problem with his mic, so he sent a text message saying, to pass this on to everybody, especially like the the comparisons of technology, conducting labs, evaluation, and the tips were excellent. So thank you, Michael, for sharing with us. Serene, any comments from you? Would you like to jump in here and perhaps help us set the stage for this sharing of best practices? Maybe rather than just somebody making presentations, everybody come in and say, okay, this is what I did today, this is what I did tomorrow, this is what I plan to do, this is the problems we have. That way we're engaging people from the bottoms up and trying to get the community going. What do you think, Serene?
Thank you so much, Krishna. That is one of the reasons of being of the Global Engineering Deans Council, of course. And this webinar, the webinar series, in fact, is one of the examples. But we do have our Exchange platform, and please stay healthy, safe, and in touch.
Okay, great. So Hans, we'll just wind it up now at this point. Thank you.
I think so. Ramiro, are you still with us?
No, yes, he had to leave.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Cengiz. Greetings to the team at SUSTech, and we hope to be together physically, hopefully, in a few months. And take care, all of you, yourself, your health, and your families and colleagues. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
This has been
looking forward to talk to everyone.
This, by the way, this has been recorded, and all of you who have registered for this meeting and attended or even registered will be getting a copy of the recording, and we will take a look at all the comments and questions and see if we can come back to them in one of our group meetings. Thank you all, and stay healthy and stay safe. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.